I just wanted to come on and do a little demo for you tonight, and I wanted to share with you, I've been really interested in using these new modeling pastes that we are using for our level 3 strokes, and I wanted to use them for adding texture to landscapes, and I've been interested to see what that looks like and how that would work. And so there is a landscape that's in the level 3 set of projects that we do in the certification, but there's texture in there, and we do that, but this is texture, I'm thinking of things that really have texture, like rocks and trees and sand and things like that. So that's what I want to share with you, is how I would do that in some paintings. And I pulled out a few paintings that I already have, that I've already done, and I'm going to show you how I can spruce them up. So you can take paintings that you have that you've already done, and you can add this to it, no problem. It'll go right with it, already painted. So you don't have to start over again if you want to just add some texture to some paintings that you have. Okay, so let's get overhead. I'm going to click here. Okay, so what I have here, this is a painting that I did in class that I taught. It's just called West Coast Shore. Okay, and this was done on wood panel of palette, and you can do it on canvas, you can do it on anything, but I liked it when I did it on this wood palette, and that's how I taught it before. And this is a pretty good size palette, so I want you to see, but I'm just going to focus on one particular area. Okay, so I'm going to come down into, let me shift this over a little bit. Oops, of course nothing's going to stay knocked over. And let's come down to this. So if you love this, the class video is actually available on my website called West Coast Shore, and there's also a packet that goes with it as well. Okay, so we're going to come right over here on this one. I picked a big one to work on, right? So I'm going to get on a foam plate, put out some of, this is the nice and thick modeling paste. Okay, so I'm going to get just a little bit of this. I'm not going to use a lot tonight, but I'll get more if I need it. Make sure you cover up the can or the jar after you get some out, because it will dry fast, and I've got my ceiling fan on, so it's going to dry even faster. Okay, so I've got some of this nice and thick, and by itself it has texture. Okay, and I've gone out and looked and seen how some people actually will just put the modeling paste as is on their piece and then paint over it, which is a nice way to do things too. But what's wonderful about this material is that you can blend in color, and it keeps the tone mostly of the color that we're working with. So I'm going to put out just a little bit of burnt umber, okay, and a little bit of, right now, put other colors out later, a little bit of coffee latte as well. Okay. All right, so I'm going to take my palette knife here, and I'm going to pull out a little bit of this, right, and move it over to a spot where I can mix with my burnt umber. All right, let me wipe that off so I don't have anything on both sides of my knife. And so now what I'm going to do is I'm going to pick up some burnt umber right there, bring it right over here, and start to mix it with my paste. And you can see for the most part it's keeping that color once you blend it all together. You have to kind of tap it and spread it with pressure, smear it with pressure, pull it together and push it out, like blending or like kneading dough is what this is like. A little more of that brown. The more paint you add to it, the more it's going to break down the consistency of the paste, so you want to be careful not to overdo it in the interest of tone. And I'm going to show you what we do when we bring back some color after we get the paste on. Okay, so here we've got a brown tinted paste, modeling paste. This is the nice and thick. Okay, so there it is, and I'm going to spread that out, and then I'm going to take my knife and get some on the bottom of my blade. Okay, so see, it's a nice thin little bead that I scraped up right there. Okay, so what I want to do is come in here and add some texture. Now I can tap in the texture or I can scrape it. And what I want to do is kind of scrape down this texture, and then you're going to see how I'm going to add some lighter texture on top of it. So see this rock right here in the front where it has a light top on it and it's got some water splashing over it. So I'm going to take this and I'm going to come right in here where this dark area is, and I'm going to lay on the flat of my blade so it's all faced flat and pull that down, kind of like a mountain. You're just going to swipe it right down. And I can come get a little bit more now and create, just kind of move that knife around and create some uneven leveling. Can you see that? So you see some high and low spots and some texture in there. Okay, I'm going to come and get a little bit more, and I'm going to come right up here and I'm going to sweep up this face of this rock right here. Okay, so this is going to pull this forward to me, and when I do the next step, you're going to see how this comes together nicely with the two colors. Okay. Okay, so now I'm going to wipe off my knife and I'm going to get another little bit of clean paste. Okay, and I'm going to move it over here, and I'm going to get some of my coffee latte, and we're going to work that together. So again, you're going to push it, smear it, you can tap it, whatever you need to do. And if you have one of those silicone mats, those are even better. So you don't have to mess with the high edges of these foam plates then. Okay. All right, so what I want to do, I'm going to wipe that off on my plate so I've got a nice, smooth, flat coat on the bottom of my knife. Can you see that there's no heaviness there? It's just a nice, even, smooth coat of color with that paste. Okay. Yes, get out of your comfort zone. Absolutely. This is it. This is why I'm doing this tonight, to get you guys to try this stuff, because this is really great. Okay, so we're going to come, we'll see where it's curved right here at the top of this rock. I'm going to use the curved edge of this knife right here, and we're going to come right across the top with that little bit, and the knife is still flat to the surface. And see what that does? It leaves some of the undercolor that I have. It brings some of that into the dark pieces that we put in here, which are already starting to kind of dry up, and it picks it up and skips across it like that. Okay, I'm going to come right from up here, and we're going to do a little bit of that as well. Just kind of pull that up and back. Okay, so you can create texture on the rocks. And in a minute, I'm going to show you how we're going to create the entire face of rocks on a different painting that I have pulled out here. Okay, so you can swipe it down. Keep your palette knife flat to the surface. I can't stress that enough. I'm going to pick up a little more of this burnt umber, and we're going to pull that together. And you can get some blended color in there. See that? Okay, now if I want to bring back some of that darker brown that was in there and it got tinted slightly from the paste, I can grab my brush, and I'm gonna, this is a 3/4 from the level 3 brush set. All right, and I'm gonna get just some burnt umber on my brush. Okay, and I can come right in here and touch that right into the paste itself. You might want to wait till it's dry, or you can do it while it's wet. Okay, and it's all very versatile, easy to work with, cleans up with soap and water, and it's really nice. And you can kind of soften down some of those edges and tap in that darker color into some of the texture that you've created, and it just moves it around slightly and darkens it up. So that was fun, and that I'm really happy with, that worked out very well. Okay, you can do things like sand with this as well. I can come in with a little bit more of this, create a little bit more of the sand color here with the coffee latte. Work that together. Okay, and then pick it up with my knife on the flat And I can come right across the sandy beach right here and skip across with the light and the dark showing. Now, with this, I might even come and just take some of the paste itself, or you can add a little bit of white to it. Okay, either one is going to work, but for sand, I'm not worried about being pure white. I actually don't mind that it's a little dull looking. Okay, and you can even tap with your knife and create some texture that way. It suctions it and pulls it up in those little puckers. So you don't need to be brave to work with the paste. The paste is just paste. Pick something and play with it. Take a Dollar Tree flat canvas and just work with it. Pick a canvas that you've already painted and go over it with some of the paste and get used to using this, because it's a really wonderful tool for getting texture. And get brave then if that's what you need to do, but try it. Okay, see how that came out, and I'm just loving how that looks. It really looks more realistic, gives you some dimension and depth and texture in there. Okay, so this is on wood. As you can see, it works just fine. Now, the next thing we're going to go to, I'm going to come to a waterfall painting that I did several years ago. And this is my mountain waterfall. And we have, yes, Melinda, that's a really good tip. If the palette knife is difficult, if that's something that you're having a hard time working with, try a brush first. Get used to working with the paste with the brush, and that's exactly what I was going to do next. I was going to come in here with this 3/4 flat. I'm going to pick up some of this nice and thick paste right here, okay? And then I'm going to grab, actually I want some burnt sienna. Okay, and I'm going to, oops, of course, get it all over my fingers. Miss Brenda Nauman's Martis is watching, and she'd know that that does happen to me as well as you guys. Okay, sorry, had to get that off my hands before I got it all over everything. I am a neat painter. They pick on me for that because I don't have messy hands. Well, I'm sorry. I don't like them. Okay, so I'm going to pick up this paste, come over here, grab some of this burnt sienna, and work it into my paste, okay? So you can blend it with the knife, you can blend it with the brush if you just want a little bit, okay? And then you can get another color even and work it in. Get your colors to blend well. Grab more of that paste, work it in. All right, so now you've got all this paste on your brush. You can come right in here. So I'm going to come down a little closer. All right, and we've got this rock wall right here that's kind of closest to you. These are the places that you would do texture. I wouldn't do it way back here where it's further away. Just do little bits of it where things are close to you, okay? So you can tap it in. You can lay it in and swipe it. You can push it down and leave it, all right? And sweep it. You can come in with a lot of it. Let me get more of this work together here. So you get a lot of it on your brush. All right, pick it all up here. And you would push it. You have to kind of push it off your brush and sweep it, okay? And then you've got that texture in there. Then you can come in with other paint colors and add some streaks to it. You can come in with another brush. So once you get it on there, you can move it around and play with it. It's got some open time to it, so you can kind of work with it and remove some of it, move it around, push some of it back. See there? So you're adding texture here. You can sweep it and leave some of it pushed away. I have a hard time following a righty using a palette knife since I'm a lefty. Oh, that's right. That's right. We had that issue with you. So a lefty, sadly, is going to come from it this way. So that means when you want to go in this direction, you're going to have to I recommend kind of turning your canvas upside down. I hate to say that, but it really does help, because then you're sweeping from right to left because of the way the knives are made and oriented, okay? Unless you can find a knife that's the reverse of this one, right? Or you can come from the top and push it this way, right? So I'm going to do this with my left hand just for you. Okay, so I'm going to come in here with the texture on my knife. I'm going to come right in here and I'm going to push and slide. Push and slide. See that? Now see, I got some over there, so I can clean that up. You are not afraid of challenges. I know you are not, Miss Melinda. Not afraid to do something different. So you can come in here with some of the burnt umber mixed in. All right, and you can kind of tap it along. I'm using my left hand here and pull that down. Okay, so you can create some texture on the face of this. See that? The other thing that I was thinking you could do with this one is with the trees. So you could come in with some sap. Let me pull this down so I'm not doing it on the wet part. I'm going to put some sap green in here. And I was using lime green, I think, with this. Come on. There we go. So some sap green and some lime green. There we go. All right, so just little bits of it. I'm gonna work it. So I'm gonna work it together with a palette knife here. Let me grab some, and I'm gonna come right up here, and we're gonna blend some sap with this. Sap is a very strong color, so it blends very easily with this without changing its tone much. Okay, so we've got some sap there. Wipe off my knife, and then I'm going to come get what's left of this, and I'm going to come over here to my lime green, and we're going to pick some of that out and mix that together. Okay, and that lime green really takes to it well. Okay, so we've got all this that we can work with, and now we're going to use our fan brush. Let me get that wiped off before it dries. All right, so the fan brush, I'm going to come right in here. Let me get that damp. Let's back up slightly. All right, and so I'm going to pick up on the corner of my fan brush a bunch of the lime green on one corner and a bunch of the sap green, and this is with the paste. I think they do make lefty knives, to be honest with you, Melinda. You might want to check. I know Plaid doesn't, but I'm sure somebody out there does. So, all right, so we have a tree right here that's coming right up from the bottom in front of you. Okay, and we have another one over here, but I'm just going to work this one. So I'm going to come in with my corner of my fan brush with that texture, and look what happens. We're going to tap in some texture right in here. And this is a really nice brush to do this with, because these have a stiffer bristle to them, these long handled black level 3 brushes. Okay, so I've got all this texture, and I'm going to flip my brush over, and I'm going to tap in little bits of that lime green. So kind of following the pattern of what I had from before with just the regular paint, but now I'm doing it with the texture in there, going right over the top of it. So that's why I say you can use a painting that you already have and just try this and see if you like it. And try different things with it, okay? So heavy texture, lay that in there. And this is going to make this tree just kind of pop right out. Pick up more of that paste. Okay. So you can, and what's nice also is you can come in with your knife, you can come in with a brush, you can soften things and just work with it for a while before it dries up on you. Now, one thing you can also do, I can pick up some white And I'm just going to use this flat brush right now, but I'm just going to grab a little bit of white and I'm going to come right in here and tap that in. And you can work that into the existing paste on your piece instead of having to go work it into your palette and mix up more than you need, okay? So there's ways to do that as well. So I'm just tapping the corner with little bits of white. Bring that forward. I can pick up more of that paste if I need to. Okay. But see how that just, and that's just bringing that tree forward. That white does that. It brings things forward. That's why we try not to put strong white in backgrounds, because then it pulls it further forward. But can you see the texture on this? I'm not sure if it's coming across. Right there. All right, so when that dries, it's going to be a little dull, but when that dries, it's going to really look like it's popping up off the bottom of the canvas. Okay, now last thing I wanted to share with you is if you're working on, this is the one we just did the other night in my class, and we have these cypress knees right up here. Okay, so if you guys did this class with me, go back and try this. I've got a little bit of this paste left right here. All right, so I'm going to come in and we're going to mix a little of this burnt umber in with the paste. Okay, and then I can come right in here and I can sweep up with that paste. I can come and get some of the stuff that I mixed the coffee latte with, and I can kind of tap it down and sweep it. Okay, so you can get a little different look with this using this texture. You can tap at it, you can create ridges into it with the edge of the knife. Okay, I'm not doing any flower demos tonight because I'm doing landscapes with texture, Sue, but we can do that another night, okay? Donna's got lots of demos out there right now with the flowers and stuff, but not so much of the landscapes. So that's why I was doing this, but I appreciate the request. Okay, so just a little bit more of the coffee latte, and I can kind of tap that in there and create a little vein of light. See there? So it kind of makes it a little more fun when you can add some texture to your design. And come in with the brush as well and lay some of that texture in there too, like Melinda was talking about. Just work with a brush and try it first, and then see what you can do with it that way. I can come in with some of this lime green even, mix it with some of the dark. So you can blend the colors, work with the paste that way with the colors blended, and put a little bit of moss coming down here. Okay, so lots of fun different things. You can work this paste into your paintings and have some fun with it. Okay, so that is what we did tonight for our demo. I hope you enjoyed that.